Right. Hello, everyone. We'll just give everyone a couple minutes to enter the session before we fully get started here. All right, so it looks like we already have a great group here joining us. So thank you for joining us for this session on residence life at Merrimack and what it's like to live on campus. My name is Sarah Bird, and I'm a mission counselor for Visitor Services and Ambassador Program. So I have here along with me some members of our residence life staff team. So they're going to give kind of an overview of our different living accommodations we have for first year students and kind of what their office oversees and offers for our students. And then we'll open it up to questions from all of you. So if you do have any questions about residence life or living on campus, definitely utilize the Q&A feature of this session to submit those questions, and we'll try to do our best to get through all of those questions and answer them live for you. So I'll turn it over to John now to kind of introduce himself and his team and then kind of present quickly.
Well, hello everyone, and first off, welcome to our virtual admitted students day. On behalf of the Department of Residence Life, we're excited to have you here chatting about our residence halls and living on campus. My name is Jonathan Bragg. I am the Associate Director of Residence Life at Merrimack. I oversee all aspects of our Office of Residential Education, so that's the programming and the events that happen in the halls, our staff and hiring and training them, and I supervise most of our staff. So I have two of my staff members here with me today, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Aborn, and I'm one of the area coordinators. I oversee Monican Center and the Townhouses, which are one of the first year residence halls that we'll talk about a little bit later. I also advise RHA, which is Residence Hall Association, and work on some housing placement stuff. Gigi?
Hi everybody, I'm Gigi Castellanos. I am a senior here at Merrimack, unfortunately. I have been an RA for 3 years. I live in Ash Center, which is one of our first year housing options here on campus. I work with the first year students, so I've been with the honors students for 3 years, and yeah.
Great. Well, thanks so much. So what we'll do today is we have a couple of slides that we'll just talk to you a little bit about residence life at Merrimack, but then we'll leave plenty of time at the end for any questions that you have. So to get us started, Residence Life is one of the largest staffs at Merrimack College. We have almost 100 employees that work for us, between full-time professionals all the way down to our resident advisors who are student leaders on campus. So we'll talk a little bit about what each of those are. We have a main office in the Sackawitch Campus Center that our central office folks work in. That's our director. Myself as the associate director, 2 assistant directors. We're in charge of sort of planning all the major aspects of Residence Life, everything from developing the model of programming that we use to placing all of the students over the summer before they get here, dealing with things like room changes and things like that. We also have 4 full-time master's level area coordinators like Caitlin. These folks are folks that actually live right in the residence halls and manage those parts of campus. They're someone that your student will see a lot if they live on campus, and they're kind of a primary person that they can interact with. We also have up to 7 graduate resident directors. So these are graduate students who are looking to go into the field of higher education through a master's program at Merrimack. And they work with us, and they have a very similar role to the area coordinator. They help run the day-to-day operations of the campus. And then we have our resident advisor staff. We have 74 RAs on campus. These are upper class students like Gigi who have applied to and been accepted into our resident advisor position. These folks have a floor or a wing, or depending on the style of housing, an area of campus that they're responsible for. And they all have about 30 to 40 students that they oversee. They're kind of the primary contact for a lot of our students. So when a first year student moves in, one of the first people they'll meet will be their RA, and their RA is a great resource to them. They've been through everything at Merrimack. They've done, they've selected classes for the next year. They've gone through the housing selection process year to year. So they're a great resource and can help out, and they help if there are issues or problems that they're having as well. We have a couple of different first-year halls at Merrimack. They all are pretty similar, but they do have some differences, so we like to go through those. First, we have Deegan Hall. Deegan Hall is a very traditional style first-year residence hall. It's made up primarily of doubles and triples with some quads. There are only a handful of quads in the building. And when we say doubles, triples, and quads, double is a room with 2 people, a triple is a room with 3 people, and a quad is a room with 4 people in it. This is kind of that traditional shared bathroom on the floor that's shared with about 30 residents for each bathroom. In Deegan, there's actually several bathrooms on each floor because of the layout of the building. But folks have sort of that shared bathroom. And on each floor, there's common rooms, and those common rooms have TVs in them. They also have tables, chairs. They're a great study space, but also a space that students like to hang out and watch, whether it's a football game or a movie. So there's certainly plenty of other spaces if you're feeling like you don't want to just hang in your room. We also have 2 residence halls. One's called Monican Center that Caitlin runs, and one is Ash Center. These buildings from the outside actually look identical. They were built at the same time, and their layout is essentially the same inside as well. So they're basically mirror images of each other, just in different parts of the campus. In each, there are 3 wings. 2 wings have suites, and suites are 2 2-bedroom units that have a shared common room and a bathroom for 4 people. In general, the folks that are in suites tend to be part of our living learning communities. Those are where most of those are on our campus. There's also 1 wing in each building of the doubles and triples, very similar to Deegan, with a communal bathroom on each floor. And then we have the townhouses. The townhouses are a much smaller residence hall. So while Deegan, Ash, and Monican each have about 300 students in them, the townhouses are much more, a much smaller unit. So some of our students prefer these. They have about 14 students in each. They're in 6 double or triple rooms, and they're kind of, those doubles and triples are different in each building, but they all have about 14 residents in them with 2 bathrooms that are shared among everyone in the townhouse. And there's a common room on each floor. And there's some photos of what one of the rooms looks like in those townhouses down below. Another part of what we do in residence life is we offer a lot of program and events. So while most people, when they think of residence life, think it's, oh, it's my bedroom, it's where I'm going to sleep, it's where I'm just going to go after class. We like to offer a lot of opportunities for our students. And you see photos here from a wide variety of events that we've held over the last couple of years. We try to do everything from, on the bottom right, you see folks pulling together blankets for a community service project as a result of the Merrimack Valley gas explosions that happened last academic year. We also do fun things, like in the bottom left, you see our Deck the Halls program, which is we encourage students at the end of the fall semester to decorate their doors, decorate their rooms for the holidays, and we actually give out prizes for the best decorated rooms. We also do things like team building and community service out in the community. So there's lots of different opportunities for students to get involved and to meet other people in their residence hall. We also have our RHA and Health Council, and I'm going to turn it over to Caitlin, who actually oversees that, to talk a little bit about this program.
So RHA stands for Residence Hall Association, which is a student organization on campus that I advise that allows students on campus that live on campus an opportunity to kind of get involved in program and advocate for themselves in terms of planning events and kind of figuring out what students are interested in within their areas and kind of seeing what type of events. So for example, we have our trick or treat event where we have students come to campus and trick or treat throughout the dorms. We have our Deck the Halls event where people are able to decorate for every holiday come December at the end of the fall academic. And then we also have a duck hunt. So it's kind of little, smaller, large scale events where students get to kind of come out of their dorm room, but able to kind of foster a larger community. And then Hall Council is a smaller version of RHA within each residence hall. So within Ash, within Monican, within Deegan, there are smaller organizations within each of those communities for the students to kind of get involved in kind of develop their leadership skills as individual students. They become able to advocate for their peers and figure out what programs and activities their students within those buildings want to see. And then if there is something that they kind of want to see larger scale, they're able to kind of communicate that upwards to RHA to kind of make it larger for the entire campus within residence life.
Great. And one of the most common things that we tell parents and students who are interested in coming to campus and as they start making their plans to move on to campus is definitely check out our website. If you go to merrimack.edu and you type in either housing or residence life into the search bar, it'll bring you to our page. And if you click on the new students tab, there's a ton of information there. We're used to getting a lot of questions from incoming students. Most folks, this is their first time away from home. So they want to know everything from what to bring to how do I deal with living with a roommate for the first time. And we have resources on that site. Probably our most popular page on our website is our packing list. That's a great list of just items to think about or things that you might forget. It has some suggestions of what to bring and also a list of some items that you shouldn't bring or are prohibited on campus that are good to know. So definitely check out our website if you have questions. If not, you can always reach out to us and I'll show you our email below. We have some time in this session, but we answer questions year round and can answer your email or your phone call if you reach out. If you don't see something on our website and have a question about it, definitely reach out and we'll get you that answer. So yeah, I think at this point we'll open it up to questions, and I put the email address to our office here. So if you do have a specific question or need some more information as time goes on, you can always reach out to our office.
Awesome. So we've had plenty of questions submitted. So the first one I'll ask of the group here is the process for students being matched with a roommate, as well as if students are able to indicate a specific preference for a double versus a triple, things like that.
Yeah, it's a great question. So in terms of the way that the housing selection works for your first year at Merrimack, when students are accepted to the institution and put down their deposit to be a resident student, around May, we'll send out a form asking them to indicate some preferences to us of what they're looking for. And so first, it's going to ask you, do you have a roommate in mind? So some students, when they come to Merrimack, they're coming from someone, they may have a friend from high school that's coming with them, or maybe they've met someone through social media or through some of the admission events. A lot of times people come in and say, I already know who I want to live with. And we allow those on the form as long as it's a mutual request between the two people. We will look to honor that when we do our housing placements. But don't worry if you don't have someone. Most people don't necessarily have someone before they go in. And what we do is we use a software that will ask a variety of questions about your lifestyle, right? About what time you go to bed. Are you somebody that goes to bed late or gets up early? Are you somebody whose room is always a mess? Are you clean? And basically look to try to match you up with someone who's similar in terms of lifestyle and what they're looking for. We kind of know what the most common problems are with roommates. And so we look to try to minimize those through our software. And our software actually does a really great job of matching people. So don't worry if you don't have someone. We can do a pretty good job of placing you with someone that we think will be a pretty good match. In terms of doubles and triples, we don't allow for a specific preference. And it just is through our system, people are placed in either a double or triple room.
So the next question we have is about if we offer any living learning communities or kind of specific living spaces such as like substance-free options.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we do have a number of learning communities, and the full list is available on our website. We have them both for first year and for upper class areas, and some are for both. Our honors program is one of our largest living learning communities. That's a program that students are invited into and can be part of the honors learning community if they're part of the honors program. We have the Austin Scholars, which is a community service-based group. So they go out and do a lot of service, and it's looking for students typically that have done some service before they come into the school and are looking to continue that once they get here. They actually live in Monican, and Caitlin is oversees that first year group. We have ITAC, which is engineering and computer science. We have women in science and engineering and women in health sciences. And we have Jumpstart, which is an early education program that some students are really interested in, especially if they're going into the education field. So we offer those. And when you go to select your housing, one of the first questions will be, are you interested in one of these? And so you can definitely, and there'll be information on that form about what each one is before you put it in. That way we know when you're coming in if you're interested in one of those living learning communities. And both Deegan and Ash, our first year buildings are dry. And so in terms of substance free, we don't permit alcohol or other drugs in rooms in Deegan or Ash. Monican is effectively dry because almost all of the students there are under the age of 21. And all first year students are placed with other first year students. So it's not like a first year student would be placed with a 21-year-old senior on campus.
So our next question is asking about how many students do live on campus and kind of what the weekend experience is like for students.
Yeah, we have about 2,750, so 2,750 students on campus this year. It varies a little bit from year to year, but it's been going up each year, and we continue to add housing as the demand for housing grows. And yeah, the weekend culture, I think there's a lot of different things going on here. Some of the big things, and I'll let Gigi speak to this as a student, but some of the big things that we see in terms of campus culture here, this year, Merrimack went to Division I. Hockey has always been a huge sport here, but now we're seeing basketball and some of the other sports really take off with our students, and they're attending a lot of different things. We have a lot of students that work on the weekends. We have a lot of students that are involved with community service and do other projects on the weekend. And you know, a lot of students hang out on the weekend. It's really that kind of downtime between classes. You spend all week in classes. So a lot of folks will be hanging out in our residence halls on campus, and whether it's playing a game, whether it's watching the Patriots, you know, there's a lot going on campus every single weekend. And I think no matter what you're interested in, there's something that you can be connected to at Merrimack. But I'll let Gigi speak to it as a student.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what John is saying. I am from North Andover, so I live 5 minutes away from Merrimack campus. And as a freshman, I never left campus because there was always so many different things that I could do. I got a job on campus. I became involved with the ambassador program. So there are a lot of different things depending on your interests that you can do. We also have an email that goes out on Thursdays of every week. It's called The Weekender. And there you'll see all of the events that are going on campus and how you can become a part of those events. So there's things for people that do like sports. There are things for people that don't like sports. So there's a really wide variety of things that you can do. And also as RAs, we put on programs. So there's always something that an RA or Res Life will be doing. So there's always plenty of choices for things that you can do on campus.
So the next question we have here is about kind of the layout of our residence halls. So if they're unisex or separated by floor.
Yeah, great question. So in terms of any of the buildings that have communal bathrooms, they're separated either by floor or by wing, depending on the layout of the building. So in Deegan, for the most part, you know, on each floor, it's a different gender. In Ash and Monican, in the rooms that, or in the floors that have a communal bathroom, it's you know, each floor is a different gender, and then the townhouses are, each townhouse is a specific gender. The suites are single gender by suite. So when that group has, you know, if it's 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, it's everyone is the same gender in the suite. But because they have a private bathroom, it's just each suite is its own gender.
Great. And it looks like we are sadly nearing the end of this session. So we probably only have time for one question to wrap up with. So the final question we'll kind of answer live would be, what's the process for becoming an RA and how those students are selected for that position?
Yeah, so we get a lot of questions from prospective students who are interested in becoming RAs once they get to Merrimack. And we think obviously it's a great leadership experience here on campus. It is a very competitive process. We're the very first student leadership position that hires each year. So actually right when students get here in September, we launch our applications for the next academic year. And those are due usually at the end of October, the beginning of November. And we interview folks in November and December and hire them in January for the next academic year. So we've already hired our staff for next academic year. So especially for first year students who are coming in, you can get involved right away and you can look to apply to be an RA right when you get on campus to start your second year. But it is a very competitive process. This year we had about 30 openings on the RA staff, and we had about 150 people apply. So it is something that a lot of students are interested in. And I always recommend that students look to get involved their first year in something else on campus so that they have some leadership experience that they've been involved with something on campus for when they apply to be an RA.
Awesome. So as I said, sadly, this wonderful session has ended, or is very close to ending. So unfortunately, we couldn't answer all of your questions, but as John mentioned, feel free to send any additional questions today or kind of throughout your whole process to reslife@merrimack.edu, and their team will get those answered for you. I do also want to highlight to everyone to be sure to check out both our virtual tour and the gallery we have of kind of still photos within our residence halls, since none of you could kind of be on campus today, kind of getting that feel for what we offer for students. So all of that is in our main virtual ASD page where kind of today's schedule has been. So I want to thank our Residence Life team members that joined us for this session, and thank all of you for tuning into this session and joining us for Virtual Admitted Student Day. So thank you and have a great rest of Virtual Admitted Student Day.
Thanks.
Thank you.